We learned yesterday that this is the month in the Hebrew calendar that is focused on the blowing of the shofar. Now let's explore what the shofar was and how it was used in ancient times in ancient Israel. Shalom, my friends. It's Akiva Gersh with Israel in 5, where we give you everything Israel in 5 minutes. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any questions or want to keep the conversation going, please do so below in the comments. Many places in the Hebrew Bible, the shofar is mentioned, mostly as a commandment on the holiday of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, when the shofar must be blown a certain number of times as a way of proclaiming the new year and really setting the stage for the spiritual atmosphere of the day. And the blowing of the shofars this month, as we said yesterday, is to really get the nation of Israel ready for the big day, Rosh Hashanah, when the blowing of the shofar is in the level of a commandment and an obligation. But the shofar was used in ancient times in ancient Israel in other ways as well. And we see this talked about, written about in the Hebrew Bible. First of all, when the ancient Israelites went out to war, they brought with them shofars, they brought with them trumpets, and this was the way of announcing to the people that we're going out to war. Even before that, when the Israelites were first journeying through the desert for 40 years between Egypt and the Holy Land, whenever they were to start traveling, right, there were also shofars and trumpets being sounded in order to let them know when to leave and which tribes were leaving when. It's kind of like an ancient train schedule of sorts. When you hear the whistle or a certain sound, you know it's your turn to start moving. But it was also used in other ways as well. And there's one really significant, amazing, powerful archaeological artifact that was found in Jerusalem near the southern wall that attests to this. And this is hands down one of the most important archaeological finds that has been found in the area of Jerusalem. It was found in 1968, shortly after Israel gained access to the Old City in 1967 as a result of the Six-Day War. And you can imagine Israeli archaeologists got right to work. They were so eager to go into the Old City and start excavating because they knew there was so much to find there. And one of the things that they found pretty quickly was this massive stone that had inscribed on it words in Hebrew that basically said that this is the place of blowing the shofar. Now, the other words are broken, they're not full, they don't know exactly what they said, but from context and knowing what the Hebrew Bible says about the use of the shofar, and knowing that this was found in Jerusalem, right next to the Temple Mount, it's pretty logical to assume that the stone originally said that this is the place of the trumpeting of the shofar, the sounding of the shofar for Shabbat and holidays. Right? In ancient times, a shofar was blown a few times during the day on Friday, later in the day as Shabbat was getting closer and closer, to let people know that Shabbat was coming. The first time that the shofar was blown, they would stop doing a certain kind of work. And then the next time they heard it, they would stop doing another kind of work. Eventually, they would close their stores. And eventually, they knew that Shabbat is coming in with the final blast of the shofar. And this, again, is reflected in this very, very important and amazing archaeological find that, again, was found near the southern wall. A replica of it can be seen in Israel, in a museum, in Jerusalem, in Israel. And it's a very, very important thing. And let's be honest, it's a very cool thing to see how the shofar was used in ancient Israel in ancient times, and to see artifacts, archaeological artifacts that reflect and parallel the words, the phrases that are written in the Hebrew Bible. So the shofar was a very important part of ancient life in Israel for the ancient Israelites, whether it was traveling during their days in the desert, whether it was going out to war when they needed to do that, or whether it was getting ready for Shabbat and holidays. And to know, where back then not everyone had clocks, no one had clocks, they didn't have watches on their wrists. And this was the way of telling people the time and to make sure that they got prepared for Shabbat and the holidays in the proper time, and that they ceased doing work that was prohibited on these holy days at the right time as well. So this is a bit about the shofar. We see it in how it's used in modern day times, and also in ancient times, a very, very important symbol for the Jewish people throughout the thousands of years that the nation of Israel has been in existence. All the best, my friends, and be well.